Are you looking for a wholesome film that's about loved ones, heartbreak, and falling into a job you really don't want? Well, I've got the movie for you. We're going to be reviewing Mr. Blake at your service right now.
Welcome to the Light, Camera, Rant Podcast. Your source for the latest on movies, TV shows, and video games. Get ready for ranting, raving, and reviewing. Here is your host, Lee.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Lights Camera Rant. As mentioned, we're going to be looking at Mr. Blake at your service, starring John Malkovich. This is my second French film review, so in advance, I do apologize if I say any French names wrong, because the last time I did a film review on this, someone did mention that you pronounced that wrong. I'm like, I'm sorry, I apologize in advance. And I'd also like to thank Studio Canal for giving us the opportunity to review this film. When I saw this come across my emails, I was a little bit excited. You know, it's a little bit different. It's not a horror film. And once I did my first French film review, I didn't think I'd be doing another one, so I was very excited. Especially when you get the talented John Malkovich being in the titular role and seeing the fact it's comedy drama, I was like, alright, you have my attention. So this particular film is directed by Gilles Lenevic, and this is based on his book, and this is also his first directorial debut. So that would be so cool to go, you know, I've got a book, I released it, you know, I think it's fantastic. You know what, I'm going to make a movie of it. And not just I'm going to give it to some studio to make. I'm personally going to make this movie, and I'm going to write and direct it, which he has. And this film currently has made $1 million at the box office at this stage, and it's currently showing in my country, Australia, at the moment. And this, from start to finish, this is such a wholesome movie. Recently I've been watching, obviously action movies, twisters, horror movies, all of that. It's just nice to watch a film that's just, very simple story, sad, but also lovely to watch, and is like a feel-good ending, or at the end. This is my definition of a Saturday night, Friday night family flick movie that you watch. Yes, some people might get annoyed because it's going to be in subtitles, but for everyone else, just enjoy it. It's a really good story. So what we do find is we find Andrew Blake, played by John Malkovich. He's a very high businessman, however, he has recently lost his wife, and he's struggling to deal with her loss and know what's to do with life after she's gone. And then his best friend Richard is really trying to get him to get out of this rut. He's done this amazing award show for him. He's the man of the year. He skips that, saying, I don't want to do it. I'm out of here. I'm packing. I'm going. Misses 20 of Richard's phone calls, and he's like, nah, I'm not doing this at all. And then what happens is, Andrew decides to go back to France to a little manor where he met his wife, because he wants to be really connected to his late wife's memory. He does have a daughter who lives in Australia, but he's not going to go visit her. He's just going to go to this manor. So we see him go, and of course, this manor has no reception, so he can't call anybody. And it's a little bit run down. It's definitely nothing like what it used to be when he first met his wife many, many, many years ago. It's a bit in shambles, and as he goes to approach this man to try and book a room, which he tried to call in advance but didn't work out, he meets Oddie. Now, Oddie is this lovely caretaker. She basically runs the entire house for the owner, which is Natalie. She owns the house. However, she really wants it to get back into business, what it used to be, but she's a little bit defeated as well. She's also lost her husband and kind of shut off the world altogether, and you do feel for her. She also slightly talks to her late husband as well, at a mannequin. That was a little bit weird, but understandable, that second opinion. So the place is pretty much hit a wall, and it's going down. She's also looking to sell. Also, spoilers left, right, and center. If you haven't seen this movie, definitely go watch it and come back. If you have seen it, please stay along and let's find out if you think the same way as I do for this entire film. So, as Mr. Blake goes to try and, as Andrew tries to book a room, Heidi gets completely confused, thinks the fact that he's trying to fill out one of the butler roles, so she treats him like a butler for the first 10 minutes. He is so confused as all shit. He's like, you get the bottom feeder room, you get barely any to eat, you have to clean. She goes at him the whole time, and he's like, this is such a weird place to try and book a room, and why are you doing all this to me? So he doesn't realize it until she doesn't realize it until he speaks to her about the second day. But also during this time, because there's no reception, the first night he goes out and he tries to find reception. This is where he bumps into the other main character, Philip. Funny enough, the actor who's playing the character is also called Philip, so that must have been really easy for him, Philip. I know that was a terrible joke, and I know that was one of the worst dad jokes I've ever made, so that's all right. So we meet him because he nearly shoots his head off. And he says that he lives on there and he does all the hard works, hard manly stuff around the place. He's a little bit of an old ball, but played really well. And he tries to do a good job, but he kind of gets beaten down. He also heads butts with Oddie as well, so they've got their relationship right there. And then we've also got Maroon, she lives in the barn, and she's also with child. So the entire house is a mess. And Andrew's trying to figure out how to do the right thing to stay, because he can stay being the butler, and he also tries to fix the place. And during the movie, he helps every single character the best he can. Whether it be Maroon with her child and trying to help with her boyfriend, Oddie, who you find out is a fantastic cook. She's great. She has all these skills. Again, she ended up at this manor because she followed her heart. The guy didn't follow her back, so she left altogether. She's a great cook. She's amazing. And obviously, Natalie, which are dealing with her issues. And there's also a very heartbreaking scene where you find out there's two graves on site. One's of her late husband, and one's an unnamed grave. And a little bit to put the movie, you're like trying to figure out whose grave that is. Is that going to be her when she passes away? But you also find out that it's actually his not so secret lover. And it's really sad, saying, she says to Andrew, do you know what it's like being with someone, but knowing that you're always with a second option? And the fact that you've got her right here. And she says the deal was that she can be buried on these grounds. However, she does not be labeled on the grave as an unnamed grave. And that was a bit like, that was heartbreaking. But it's moments like that you feel bad for her, and Andrew's trying to help her as well, and Andrew's trying to go through his phase as well, trying to deal with the loss of his wife. The fact that this man is starting to bring meaning to him. And they're getting really close to him. They're trying to help him. Oddie's, Philip. You'll find out also Philip makes these tiny little houses for the wildlife, which was weird and wonderful at the same time. So as Andrew helps every single character, it's really wholesome, really sweet in what he's doing. There's a little bit back and forth between all the characters at the start, but eventually they all get along. And Richard also finds him. Richard also stays for Natalie and finds out that he's being a butler, so he takes the absolute piss out of him being a butler. But he really wants to help him, and Richard really wants to help Andrew. And it's just watching all the characters in compared to the start of the film to the end, they all get along so well. And it's just the small moments, just of him helping every character, them trying to help him. He almost has a near-death experience, and they all, really rush to him. And he, slowly they fix the gate. They fix around the rooms. Manny gets to stay because of child. And it's just, at the end of the movie, you look at it and just go, that was really good. That was like, this isn't gonna this is a film that's going to blow box office records. This isn't a film that's going to get a sequel. There's nothing like this. This is literally just a nice Friday night or Saturday night flick at the end of this movie to watch. And, you know, I just hope the fact whoever does watch it, you feel exactly the same way. Even the music at the very start, it was so like upbeat, you know, like, okay. And that sets the tone for this entire film. It's just that first opening scene that we see with Richard and Andrew, with the music in the background. It's just very upbeat music, and you're like, that pretty much just sets the tone for the film, and that's it. Done and dusted on what you're going to get from this. So, you know, the film is I think is absolute win. I would give this film a 4 out of 5 stars. I would give that not a 5-star because it was just some bits that were a little bit slow, but 4.5 stars definitely. Now, I've seen other reviews for it, but this is just, if I could put it, wholesome, lovely, heartbreak, all in between. So if you have seen this film, definitely let me know what you think about it. And definitely let me know in the comments. I think everyone's performance, you know, I didn't even know John Malkovich could speak French, but he can very fluently and very well. Everyone's performance is done really well. All the acting is great. And, you know, this is one of the movies for 2024, I highly recommend watching. And this is, don't know how many times I'm going to go back to this film, but it should be on the list, and I do recommend it. So, look, that's my review for Mr. Blake at your service. So definitely let me know if you have watched it. Happy to chat with you, see what your thoughts were. And as always, until next time, happy ranting.
Thanks for listening to Lights, Camera, Rant. If you like the show, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. While you're at it, leave us a rating and review, and be sure to tell your friends. Until next time, happy ranting.